joining. And as Coach Stringer said, good friend. We've known each other for a handful of years now. Just the way basketball works, connects people, and I've had the privilege of being connected to her and helping out a few of her guys, play college basketball. So, my name is Alex Huisman. As you can see, I have 16 years of college, experience at college basketball now. So as a player and as a coach. So, um, my journey's been a little different. I walked on and redshirted my first year. I spent 4 years at Upper Iowa University, which is a D2 school in a tiny town in Northeast Iowa. Um, my head coach then was, gave me the chance to. My plan was to teach, high school and coach high school basketball, teach PE and coach high school basketball. And the coach gave me the opportunity to stay as a graduate assistant, to get my master's or to work on my master's, to start coaching. So I did that. Decided that that's where I wanted to be. Um, think I discovered my purpose in those 2 years, that the impact that I could have on young men such as yourselves, is what I wanted to do. Did that for 2 years, and then moved down to Iowa Wesleyan University to be an assistant. Going into the second year, guy I was working for left kind of out of nowhere. I was 24 years old and was offered the head job. And for 8 years, I was the head coach there. Decided after last year, needed something new, something different. Just felt I'd done what I could there. Moved down to Nashville to be an assistant at Trevecca Nazarene, which is a D2 school here in Nashville. Currently, I'm looking at other opportunities as well, but it's been an awesome journey. As I said, kind of discovered what I felt my purpose was. And I'm gonna. I don't know any of you personally, but this last year I've learned a lot. So 16 years in college basketball, and I would say that this last year has been one of the most impactful seasons I've had. And I say that if you look at our season, we won 2 games this year, but there was so much more that happened this year. Is so much bigger than the wins and losses on the court. So a large part of that is Trevecca is a Christian university. So I grew a lot, learned a lot about myself and my faith, and what I always thought my purpose as a coach, to impact young men, and to use my experience as a player, and through coaching to help those young guys, that the young men that were a part of my program, achieve their goals, get to whatever they want to do. Obviously, everybody's got dreams of reaching the highest levels of basketball. Whatever career, I wanted to help guys get to that. Always felt that it was my job to model those behaviors, as a student athlete, as a young man, and then as a husband, and now a father. This last year I've learned what that meant, is how much my faith ties into that. So using my faith to guide and to model those behaviors, for these guys as well. So it's been a journey, but get connected to so many awesome guys such as yourselves, coaches, and people that I can call friends, like Coach Stringer. So it's awesome to be here with you guys. So yeah, I don't know, Coach, you kind of, when you reached out to me, kind of talking, what can these guys do to get to that, to get to this level. So I don't know if you want me to just keep going, or what do you
So
think?
this group here I have on right now, I have two seniors and the rest are juniors, White
Okay.
and McGill in the middle. They are actually two of my, I would say, high standard players, high GPAs. Miguel's actually from Colombia, so he's here fighting every day, trying to get an opportunity. He's one of the most hungry kids I have. I've had Wyatt since he was 15. He's come a long way. Football player, can shoot that ball, can do everything needed on the court. But like the juniors I have, a lot of kids I target are the underdogs. Like, as you know about me, I got the underdogs who have the
Yeah.
greatness, who have the passion to play, but might not understand from me telling them how hard it is to get there, to really understand what it takes, how hard it is to compete with other kids, not only in Missouri, but in other states, understanding that you can have a good shot, but if you can't play defense, coach is not going to look at you. Or if you can't commit to making a practice on time or being there on time, as in 20, 30 minutes early, you're not a player yet. So those kind of ties as a college coach, what are your expectations for these young men once they come onto that campus, when there's no more mom and dad pushing them or no more Coach Stringer? What does it take to get there?
Yeah. I mean, once you get here, obviously the journey to get here is it's tough. Once you get on campus, our expectations as coaches is that you know you put your best effort into everything that you are asked to do. Um, you are a student athlete first. So, I've told every single athlete that's played for me that, academics is always going to come first. I know that, there's so many guys that, I'm going to go to the league. I'm going to play professionally. Like, basketball is number one. Ball is life. And yes, it can be. Like, basketball is a huge part of what I do and who I am. But, um, you know, it's sometime the ball's going to stop bouncing. You're not going to be able to play forever, and you don't know when that day is. Um, Academics is always going to be first. Um, so if you're not handling your business in the classroom, you're not going to get the opportunities. Whether it's recruiting or when you're on campus on a team, if there's if coaches is trying to decide between you and another player, for playing time, for starting, for a role, whatever it is, and things are very similar, especially at this level. A lot of times academics is going to be the deciding factor. That, well, this guy's doing what we're asking, what he's supposed to do, he's eligible. It makes it an easy decision. So academics is always going to be first. And for me, a big word I've used as a coach is trust. I have to be able to trust the players that are on my team, in my program. Trust isn't, you could build a lot of trust obviously in practice, but you build a lot more trust with what you do off the court. If I know that guys are going to class every day, they're turning in their work, they're communicating with professors, they're doing their job academically, I can trust them on the court. If I know that guys are doing what they're supposed to be, they're where they're supposed to be, it's a lot easier to trust somebody to run a play. Guys don't always make that connection, but guys say it like, well, I'm a good basketball player. Like, why does it matter? I missed class today. Well, if I can trust you to be where you're supposed to be in class, I could trust you to be where you're supposed to be at the end of the game when we run this play, we need to execute. So those things you do off the court, who you are off the court, that goes a long way with, the trust. So, that goes back to, being accountable. You got to be accountable to yourself. If you get to this level, any team you're a part of, so whether it's, through A&M, your high school teams, you get to play at the next level, you've made a commitment to that team. So you got to hold yourself accountable to doing, whatever it is that coaches asked you to do. You're not always going to agree with it. You may not always like, what, those standards, what coach is asking of you, but you've committed to that team. So it's bigger than you. You have to sacrifice a part of yourself to, to be a part of that team. So hold yourself accountable. Like I said, be where you're supposed to be, do what you're supposed to do, and then hold yourself accountable to those things, and putting in the work, putting in the effort. Whatever that standard, whatever coach is asking you to do, you got to put in the work then too.
Sure. Coach, I know you coached at the NAIA level and now you're at the D2 level. The new thing now is D1 or bust or D1 or nothing. Can you explain to these young men of what the opportunities are from JUCO to NAIA or to Division III basketball? Because I think a lot of our student athletes don't really understand how to get to those levels or what's really required or who, like I said, again, who they're going against. And they don't understand that nothing's wrong with JUCO or going to a low division if you have the grade. So if you can kind of elaborate on that, I always speak about it, but I think it'd be better if coming from a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously what you see on TV, March Madness just finished up. So that's the highest level. That's what everybody dreams of. That's what we all, as a little kid growing up, you start playing basketball, you watch March Madness and, go out in the backyard and, try to simulate the San Diego State buzzer beater or whatever it is. Um, you know, there's only so many of those spots available. So just not knowing you guys, but want to be honest and I'm not trying to burst any bubbles, but as juniors and seniors in high school, if you aren't hearing from those teams now, those coaches, you're not going to get recruited to them right now. That's just the reality. Obviously the transfer portal has changed a lot, but you got to understand, any level of college basketball that you get an opportunity to play at, that's a blessing. The numbers, the statistics of guys that get to play college basketball is very, very small. Does not matter the level. Wherever you are getting interest, wherever you are getting recruited, that's probably the level you're at right now. That doesn't mean it can't change, but you don't want to blow off. You don't want to, this coach is at a D3. This coach is at JUCO. I'm not going to answer their calls. I'm not going to return those messages. When it comes to, you finish your senior year and you haven't committed, you haven't signed somewhere, and while I'm waiting for that scholarship, I'm waiting for somebody to pay for my school. You've maybe burned some bridges. You've maybe lost some opportunities that that's a chance to play college basketball. Obviously, I work in college athletics, right? And I hate how expensive it is to go to school. Okay. There's nothing I can do about it though. D1, D2, NAI, even some JUCOs can offer scholarships. At the school I'm at right now though, okay, so we're Division II, so we can offer athletic scholarships. The most scholarships a Division II team can offer is 10. Okay. You guys know how many, most teams, okay, D1 teams, they got 13, 14 guys dressed on a bench. Okay. Maybe 10 of them are on scholarship. D2, it's even less. Okay. This year we dressed 15 for pretty much every game. We had 22 guys on our roster. Okay. We weren't fully funded, so we didn't even have 10. So there's not a lot of scholarship money out there. So any opportunity that you have, is a blessing. So obviously JUCO, if that's the opportunity and that's, you go, you develop, you work on your grades, you get film, at the college level, you have another person, that coach, that assistant, somebody that can help you, move up, after 2 years when that time is right. You have more people to kind of help and assist with that. So the biggest thing I would say is, don't get caught up on the level. If you're truly committed to, this your goal, your dream to play college basketball, you got to be willing to play anywhere and wherever. The best thing I could say is you have to find the best fit. Okay. Level does not matter. You have to find the best fit. Okay. What good is it to try to go to a school and you don't get to play at all? You got to find a place that gives you the opportunity to play. If they have the ability to help pay for some school, may not be all of it, but pay for a portion of it. That's a blessing. And then a place that you can get your degree as well. Again, I'm always going to go back to the academics. You got to go somewhere. They got your degree, they got your major. They can help you with that. Then that's a good opportunity. Okay, it does not matter the level. So just a little reference, for me personally, coming out of high school, I wasn't highly recruited. Um, I every single one of you on here, every single player that I've ever coached, I will still challenge them and tell them that I'm the best shooter in the gym. Okay, I've put in enough work. I put in enough time. I had enough stats in games in high school show that like I could shoot the ball. Okay, I don't get in the gym as much as I'd like, but I still got that confidence. So I went Division II, right? I walked on, redshirted. They asked, it's one of the few schools that replied to me. They gave me an opportunity. I barely played for 4 years. As Coach said, I was still one of the best shooters on the team, but Coach Stringer mentioned it earlier. Like, man, I'm not a very good defender, right? I was about 20, 25 pounds lighter than I am now. Maybe an inch shorter. Not very quick. Not the most athletic guy. I couldn't guard, so it didn't matter how well I could shoot the ball. So I probably could have gone to some D3 schools, and I'd had the opportunity to play a lot more. There were some other reasons for me. The guys I was playing with, I met my wife in school. But at the end of the day, you gotta go what's the best fit for you. So the level doesn't mean anything. You know, down the road, you have the chance to tell your kids to tell whatever that you play college basketball. Um, you know, I have my college jersey. Um, she's not going to know that's not a D1 school. That doesn't matter. So go where it's the best fit for you. Go where you get the opportunity. Um, chance to play college basketball anywhere is a huge blessing.
I agree. I would definitely agree. I actually have Coach Woods on here as well as Coach Derek. So I have two fellow coaches as well as here. But I'm gonna open the floor for questions. Like I said, I
Yeah.
have seniors on here. I have some upcoming seniors, and I have some coaches on here. Feel free to pick brains and ask questions, and whatever coach can do to help you guys get a better understanding of thing. Let's take advantage of this time.
Yeah. So how did you know what was the best fit for you? I guess personally, what stood out to you?
Yeah. So going through the process, obviously, there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that have to be done. So to find the best fit, it's really just you kind of finding that feel. So I guess what I would say is for every single one of you, is talk with your parents, sit down yourself, write it down, and then talk with your parents. Like, what's most important to you? Is it location? Do you want to be somewhere closer to home, or do you want to go, to a certain area of the country? Is it obviously major academic should be a part of that? There's a lot of kids that, just an example, my previous school, I brought a freshman in that he's a stud, right? He wanted to do engineering. We didn't have it. He's transferring now because he wants to do engineering. So you got to know, like, academically, that's a school that has what you want to do. So through the process, just kind of getting a feel, when coaches are reaching out, texting you, calling you, asking questions, kind of their personality, the culture of the program, the guys on the team. And if you have the opportunity, go visit any school that's interested. When you get on campus, you can just kind of feel it. You're going to go somewhere and, hey, the dorms are really nice here. Okay. But their cafeteria is, it's okay. You go somewhere else, like, man, that gym is sweet, but the dorms suck. Right. Like, hey, I went on this campus, there's nobody walking around. It's dead. You go somewhere else and, like, caf's okay. Dorms are all right. But, like, just walking around campus, everybody's saying hi. There's stuff going on. Like, you just get a feel. Do your homework. Understand. What you're looking for, what's important to you, and then visit as much as possible. Get on campus and just feel it, see it, and it's something, again, just going to my faith. Like, you just got to pray about it. It's the same thing where I'm looking at other job opportunities, It's do my homework and just kind of pray about it. Like, hey, where's the best place that I can be who I want to be, and can have the impact I want, and can help me reach kind of the goals I have for myself as well.
Yeah. How did you find that like balance from being an athlete and also focusing on your academics in the classroom?
That's a really good question. A lot of that is um, you got to take advantage of the resources available. I think part of that is, when you're looking at schools and recruiting, ask those questions as well. What support do they have for academics? So just every school is going to have something. But just an example of programs I've had, we had required study tables. So when I was a head coach, every single one of my freshmen start the year, you had to get 3 hours of study table, where we had it set up with the library. You go over there, you sign in, you sign out. They let me know. We do grade checks. Just to keep track of grades. We get those grades back at semester, and Jason, you're killing it. You've got a 3.7 your first semester, whatever. Okay, you've shown you can handle. You're doing your job. You're doing what we're asking you to do. Maybe you only got to go to study table for 2 hours now. We had a tough semester, right? Like we're sitting at a 2.5, or whatever it is. So maybe we got to bump it up. It's so to me, I've always said this, that I don't think I could have never gone to a big state school and just been a student, right? Like I was a good student. Like, school kind of came easy to me, especially in high school. But man, if I would have gone to a big state school, there's too many distractions. Like, my dorm is across the city from where I got to go to, class or whatever it is. Like, you got 400 students in your class. Like, going to a school that's the right fit for you, but being an athlete is you have so much support. You're on the team. Like coaches, like I said earlier, like if you're not eligible, you can't play. So we're going to do what we can. That study tables, grade checks, communication, just being able to see each other every day. I get to know. I had weekly check-ins with guys this year that I know, like, oh, you got a test today. Teacher practice. Hey, how'd that test go? So if we need extra work, we can set up tutors. We can do more study table, whatever it is. So, but that's a big adjustment. One of the biggest adjustments for guys going from high school to college is that time management. You have plenty of free time. Guys think like I'm, playing college basketball. I got school. I'm so busy. The D2 level, before we start our season, we can only do 8 hours of stuff a week. 8 hours a week. You guys are probably doing that on your own right now. Training, lifting, getting to the gym. You're doing at least 8 hours of basketball stuff. We can only do 8 hours as a team. So like, there's so much other time. You have to understand, and prioritize. That. And I told my guys all the time, like, if you have a break between classes, like say I got a 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., a lot of guys are going to say, well, after my 9 a.m., I'm going to go take a nap. I'm tired. I'm going to go back to my room and take a nap from another class. Like, no, use that little time, do some homework. You just got an assignment in that 9 o'clock, like, knock it out quick. You got a test, do a little bit of studying. Use your time wisely, because I can guarantee you, in the evening, okay, after dinner, like, you guys probably don't go to bed. None of you probably go to bed before like 11 or 12 every night, right? Like you guys like to stay up, play video games, do all that. Like I get it, right? Same with our guys. So after dinner, right? Like somebody's gonna come ask you, like, hey, let's go to the gym, let's get shots up. Like, hey, let's play 2K, let's go run a McDonald's or whatever it is. It is really hard to say no. Say like, nah, I gotta study for this test. I gotta write this paper, right? Like you gotta be very disciplined to do that. So if you can, props to you, but take advantage of that time you have to get your stuff done. Use your study tables, use that open time. I'm going to get my stuff done. So then in the evening, guys don't want to go get in the gym. They want to do something fun. Like I got my stuff done. I can go do it. But it is a challenge, so I think the support of being, a college athlete helps. You have people helping you out. You have people, kind of monitoring, I guess, and you know, watching you, you making sure, holding you accountable to some of it. But again, it's what's important to you. You came there to get a degree and play basketball. So, when you make that list of this is what I'm looking for in a school, if the social life and the city life and all that is one of the most important things, you're not going to be the best athlete, and you're not going to be the best student you can be.
So my question is, how did you make that transition from a player to a coach? Because I always thought, like, if I don't make it in basketball, I would try to give back and like maybe coach, train, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my plan was always, I wanted to teach PE and coach high school basketball. And the reason for my plan is my high school coach. Like, that's the reason I was like, man, I want to coach because of that guy. You have someone sitting in this Zoom right now, like, you want to help, you want to coach. You got 3 coaches here, right? That you have questions, ask them as well. How did they get into it? So I'll answer for myself too, though. I was given the opportunity by my coach to stay as a GA. So I was, putting myself in a position, taking advantage of an opportunity that was given to me. So if that is something that you want to do, so again, this is why I say it's important. Write it down, make a list. What's important to you? What are your goals? If that's something you want to get into, wherever you're being recruited, talk to those guys. When you're asking questions of, hey, I want to get into coaching, if when I graduate or when I'm done playing, I'd like to get into coaching. Is there an opportunity that do they have? So it helped me. My degree was PE with a coaching endorsement. So some of my classes were coaching leadership classes. If that's an area, that's something that you can study while you're there. If there's grad assistant opportunities at that school or somewhere else. One thing that I did when I was playing is one of my assistant coaches got me started coaching AAU. So during the summer when I was in college, and I continued to do it as I was able, and I got into coaching, was I coached AAU. Any experience you can get is good experience. So coaching AAU, helping with camps in the summer, youth camps, anything that gets you experience coaching and kind of organizing practices, running a team, working on your leadership, take advantage of those. The biggest thing with coaching, though, and that's something, so even, been a coach for 12 years, just finished my 12th year, it's connections. So taking advantage of the people that you have around you, Coach Stringer, Coach Wood, Coach Derek, that, asking them questions and using those connections, making new connections whenever able. If there's other high schools or even colleges in your area that they may not be recruiting you, but you have the opportunity just to go and meet the coaches, or, hey, I want to watch a workout or something like that. Just making connections. Just obviously my resume is important. My resume can help me get jobs, but almost more important is who I know and who they know, and just making those connections. And you got people that can vouch for you. Your character, your leadership, whatever. That goes a long way. So I mean, it's the same thing as a player trying to get recruited. You got coaches that can kind of vouch for who you are, as a person just as much as a player. Can help you those opportunities as well.
I actually meant to ask Coach Singer this question too. So if you could text me your answer after, I'd really appreciate it. But what's a player that you coached or play with that has went the farthest or that you're the most proud of that didn't take it professional in basketball?
Man,
That's a question for coach or for me.
Um, Coach Huisman, but I would like your answer as well at some point in time.
Okay.
man, that's tough. I guess the answer, I had one player that my first year as a head coach came in as a freshman, and I still say he's probably the best, other than myself. He's probably the best shooter I ever coached. I mean, he lefty, like every time he shot it, I thought it was going in. Um, I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many games he started. Um, he was really good shooter. He came in the same class with another kid that like just a dog. Just from day one was like he was gonna be that dude. Um, so Elijah came off the bench pretty much his whole career. His senior year, we butted heads a little bit. I had to convince him to play. He had goals of getting into med school. He was trying to balance some, jobs and some working at the same time as playing. So we had to kind of compromise. Um, I don't know that we left on the best terms when he graduated. Um, we've since kind of reconnected, I guess, and he's reached out, asking for reference letters that helped him get into med school. In his first two and a half years of college, he was below 3.0 student, and to get into med school, like those, they don't play with those grades. So we've kind of again reconnected. And he's, coach, I get it, I understand. Like, yeah, there's probably some regrets and some things with, wish I could have done differently and that he probably earned, but he's coming out like, man, I get it, right? And he's finishing med school now. Like it's crazy. So I've had a few guys that I've coached that have gone on and played. Kid I played with in college got as high as the G League. Spent 2 or 3 years in the G League. I've had a few guys that have done workouts with the G League, but have played overseas. Obviously, really, proud of those guys. But man, the stories of like Elijah getting into med school, like that's that's what I talk about. Like, yeah, I want to help you guys, achieve your goals. Like, it may not be basketball. Like, um, you know, he's gonna be making crazy money someday. Like, this all the sacrifice and everything that he's gone through. Like, that makes me more proud as a coach.
Thank you.
I was going to ask for any coaches with everybody. What is as we're obviously young men trying to figure out this whole thing called life.
Yeah.
What is looking back? What's one of your biggest regrets? Things like maybe you wish you would have done, or more so would have done that you didn't do or take advantage of, and basketball related or even just related.
Yeah. I try not, and I'm not trying to avoid the question. I try not to look back, like, so full disclosure with you guys. So again, I played 4 years of college basketball. If you go look at my stats, I have exactly 0 career points, right? Like I told you, I didn't play much. I had to walk on. I was scout team for pretty much 4 years, and you know what? I loved it. Like being a part of scout team, I was going against my roommates, my guys, and coach didn't care if I made mistakes because I was on scout team. I got to just run around and jack it up, and man, it was fun to make him yell at them because they couldn't guard me on scout team. Obviously, I wish I would have played more. But when I look back, I don't want to regret. I don't regret my decision to go to school there because I got into coaching. I found my purpose. Some of my best friends, I had a couple from high school, but I talked to my college teammates more than anybody. You know, looking back, so and then like I said, I met my wife there, so it was so much bigger than just the basketball. So, um, for me, I would say, one of my biggest regrets is when I got into coaching. I had a few pretty good years right away, and we had a tough spot. Um, the stress and the anxiety of the job, kind of got to me, and I've had a few minor health issues. Anxiety is something that I've had to deal with for 6-7 years now. And just some other, I lost hearing in one ear, because of stress. It's kind of a crazy freak thing, but my regret with that is probably that I didn't know how to manage. I didn't know how to handle that stress and anxiety. Obviously, there's so many different ways, but I've learned this year at Trevecca, um, growing in my faith and really leaning, on God, that you know if I would have done that, when I started as a young coach, I would have probably been in a better situation, a better position, especially health wise. Um, so I guess I just say that, as obviously, I'm not, you know you got to find, you know being a young man, in today's society, it's tough, man. It's a crazy world. You guys know that. And just looking at the screen, obviously, majority of you are, people of color. So you guys are experienced and have experienced things that I've never had to deal with. And going to college, and now living in a big city like Nashville, right? Like, the shooting that was here a couple weeks ago. Like, obviously I've always seen them, but I moved here from Iowa. We didn't have that. Like, just being honest, I didn't have to worry about that. And all of a sudden, like, that was 2 miles from where I live. So it's a challenge. Being a college athlete is hard. It's balancing academics and basketball, and just the normal, things of growing up as a young man. You have to find those people and those things that you can lean on in those times. So it's why I think part of the process, finding the right fit, is that coach going to be somebody that, he's going to fight for you, and he's got your best interest in you, that you have the chance to visit, and you meet some of the guys. Those are people that, when times are tough, like, I can lean on them. I can talk to them. It's coaches, your parents, whoever it is, you're finding people that I can, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to speak up, and kind of, you got to get it out. So for myself, I've learned, leaning, on my faith, and my mentor, the guy I've been working for here this year, my wife more, like, you can't do it yourself. So find those people in your life, those things, those, exercise, meditation, faith, whatever it is, that they can help you in those times of need.
I like to respond too. Hello, fellas. Hello, everyone. My name is Charles Wood. I'm a part of Empower for Life. We do the same thing as Coach Stringer. Pretty much we mentor kids such as yourself, student athletes, and we also assist with recruiting as well. For me, so I played football on a collegiate level. I played at Grambling State University. I was a running back there, and I also was on special teams. Actually won a championship back in 2005 as well. So it's kind of telling my age a little bit, but we ain't gonna go there. Anyway, I think one of my biggest regrets was, the same tenacity that you guys have coming out of high school and going into college. Like, that's something that you want to try to keep. your work ethic, character, if it's not a problem, your grades, all of those things matter. Especially if you want to, play ball on the collegiate level, you can't get complacent. And you can't get complacent in the weight room. You can't get complacent with studying your plays, your playbook. You can't get complacent, of course, in the classroom. Like it's every aspect of the game, how you guys are in high school now, it just takes it up a notch when you go to college. And I feel like as a freshman, I came in and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Doug Williams, the first Black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. He was my coach my freshman year, fun fact. And I came in kind of like as a PWO, PWO, PWI, whatever it is. And because I played baseball too. So I was trying to, get a scholarship in baseball and try to get a scholarship in football, and wasn't getting the offers that I felt like I deserved. So last minute, went on a trip to Grambling State. They offered me, and my first time I hit the field, I caught eyes of all of the coaches. So when I tell you like that same tenacity that you guys have as your senior year going into, college, keep it. You know what I'm saying? Like keep that eagerness to learn, that willingness to learn. Never let that go. Because I promise you it's going to pay off in the future. Got a chance to get a starting position, but just luck has it, the NCAA is now eligibility center, but it was clearinghouse back in the day. That never went through. So I had missed the first 4 games of, being able to start. And after that, and college is competitive. Like everybody can play ball. Like you think you good, but you got somebody that's just as bigger, faster, stronger, smarter. They out there. So of course, trying to get back on the field and get my position back, it's tough because, like I said, everybody can ball. But my regret was not really staying in the playbook like I should have. I was an engineering major, and I graduated with my engineering degree. That's hard within itself. But at the same time, it's like I love ball. I was passionate about it. So trying to balance the two, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard. It's definitely hard. It's a whole nother level. That's why that's why a lot of people don't make it in college, because it's so much to balance. You have to discipline yourself. Like I feel like that's something that you guys should be working on now, just the self-discipline. Because once you get out there, no parents, like Coach said, no parents, no one telling you, looking over your shoulder to get your work done. Like it's tough. It's a challenge, and it's not for everybody. So that's my 2 cents, Coach.
I appreciate it. I
For
tell
sure.
my boys that as a female, I can only do so much. So you guys coming to speak on your behalf, it means the world to me, because I can't get them all the answers, and I can't get them all the water they need to have to drink to be successful. So even the kids that's here now, I have a team of 15. And for those who popped on tonight to even show that they are eager to listen and to learn and to gain more knowledge, it just shows me how far that these kids can go. And to answer your question, Trenton, my proudest player, I would have to say every kid I've sent to college, I'm proud of, because I target all underdogs. Every kid I've represented, every kid I've recruited, every kid that I placed into college were the kids that, just like you guys, they're looking for opportunity and people overlook them. So every kid that I've sent to college for the past 4 years, I'm proud of each journey. Some people made it to play college basketball. Some people just went to education route. But either way, I was an impact in their lives. They didn't give up. They kept going. They listened. They trust the process, and they understood that they got to work harder than everybody else, And so for me, you guys being my new project, you guys being here. So when it's time to start recruitment and it's time to start talking to coaches and say, hey, when I was doing this extra stuff, these kids came and showed that they was hungry to learn more. These kids were on time to practice. These kids showed that they were ready to play college basketball because they went the extra mile. So when we start the recruitment talks and all that good stuff, this is going to add on to your resume. because you guys are willing to take the extra step. So I'm proud of you guys being here, and I thank you guys coaches for taking time to speak to these young men, because most time the underdogs don't get seen, and you guys are being seen today. So it doesn't matter what you think, that how far you can go, somebody's going to always see you. All right. So that's just my motivational piece there. Coach, I don't know if you had any more you wanted to add on, either coach. I know Coach Derek is here too. If any more wisdom pushing through, we have a big tournament this weekend. I got on them pretty hard at practice on Monday. It's gonna be a hard practice tomorrow. So get y'all labs out today, and tomorrow we'll go back to work. So
Let me share something, Coach, real quickly. If you guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. My biggest things that I share with kids is something that Coach Stringer just touched on. I always know there's somebody watching you. And the other part that goes with that is be that guy, be that girl, if it's a girl basketball player, be that guy that do the extra stuff. Be the one that's cheering loudest on the sidelines when you get off the court. To be the one that's different, because at the end of the day, when you look at so many kids that play high school sports and the percentages are so low of kids getting the opportunity to go to college, be that guy. Be the one doing all the extra stuff. And I'll give you a true example of my son who ended up with 11 scholarship offers. And my son never averaged 10 points a game in high school. But he had 11 scholarship offers on all levels, Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, JUCO. But what he was that guy in the classroom. So he went from a kid that barely was passing elementary school to an honor student. So he put that work in there. He was that guy health-wise. He went from being 5'10", 235 to 6'4", 6'5", 195. So he changed up his mindset on the health side of things. But also he started putting that crazy work in. So he was that guy. He was the loudest one talking on defense. He's the one with boxing out. He's the one that if your top player one off on the team, he's gonna check that guy. So he was that guy. So he's that missing piece that most colleges want. If you need to get you 25, we played the number one team in Georgia. He gave him a double-double. The next night we played the number two team in Georgia. They gave him 25 and 15. So he can be that guy, but he wasn't getting offered for being that guy. He'd been offered for doing all the little stuff, the rebounding, the boxing out, that type of stuff. So my words to the kids on the call is be that guy. Be the one that man, because I promise you, the coaches on the call right now that coach in college, every coach wants somebody that play defense. Every coach wants somebody to play defense. Everybody wants a kid with character. And those are two traits that a lot of folks don't talk about when it comes down to recruiting. But man, when you can play defense and you got high character, you got great grades, you are very marketable. Very marketable. So I just want to share that as a nugget. Just be that guy. Be the one that be the loudest cheerleader when you come off the bench. Be the one that tapping everybody up when you have a bad play. Be that guy. Because coaches notices that.
I love that.
Just to add to that, I guess the catchphrase or the word that I would use for that is body language.
Yes,
yes. You're doing all those extra things, like you're playing defense, you're sprinting back on defense, your high fives coming on the floor, off the floor. Coach mentioned the character, like cleaning up the bench after games, just those little things. But body language, for me as a coach, like you might be able to get buckets, but if I see you hanging your head because you missed a shot, or a teammate shoots it when you thought you should have shot it, and we get all upset, like that's more telling than anything. So just be positive, stay positive, and you'll get noticed.
Fellas, do you have any more questions? Everybody got everything out? Cool beans. Well, thank you guys so much for our first session. I will see you guys tomorrow at practice. Coach, thank you so much for your time. It means the world to me. You always come through.
Not a problem. Yeah, happy to help out. So
I appreciate
best of luck to you guys.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Good luck to you guys.
Yep. We'll see you guys.
Let's get ready to work tomorrow, fellas. Let's get ready to work tomorrow.
We at the Boys and Girls Club tomorrow?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, we had the Boys and Girls Club tomorrow.
Do we get to beat you?
I'm not sure. I think they got volleyball tomorrow.
Trent, you trying to scoot? You trying to scoot?
I got you,
Bro, why are you violating the Boys and Girls Club?
Huh?
Bro.
Why are you violating the Boys and Girls Club?
Cause, bro, like,
You know why? Dang.
But there's nothing wrong with that gym, bro.
The big
Crazy.
gym is cool. The big gym is cool.
Got
The
a
big
gym.
gym is amazing.
The
Yeah.
gym.
It's a gym,
I
right?
can
We
text
got
my
a
coach. I
gym,
can text my coach. We can be there
The
tomorrow.
concrete.
You paying for
right?
that?
You got to pay coach for the hours?
Yeah, you gonna pay the cost for the hour?
How much?
You gonna pay? I don't know. Ask him.
He need to get
Which
that off
coach?
PC.
What's up, Trent?
Trey,
So-
me and you should ask coach tomorrow. Be like,
Which coach?
Trent, I can't hear you.
Hold on, I'm listening to Jason. What happened?
no, my coach at McKinley.
Anyway,
as
I'll see y'all
Drew,
tomorrow.
I'm
I got
tripping.
another interview to do, so I will see y'all tomorrow. And be safe. Hey, baby boy. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Right.
All right.
All right, shit.
Text me.
All right, coach.
Text me